Hello there everyone, how is it going? My name is Robert Baker and welcome to Guitar Control. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about 5 ways to get better faster on guitar. So these aren't all going to be examples. I'm going to have some playing examples for you and also just some tips for, just things to incorporate into your own playing and practice to just make things go a little bit smoother for you and hopefully have us on the right track. Now, obviously, there is no, to me, right or wrong way to playing the guitar. It's all up to opinion, but these are just things that have helped me along the way, so I wanted to share them with you. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We post videos all the time on here, every single day, actually, and through all kinds of creators, including myself. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this one with tip number 1, and let's get going. Alrighty, tip number 1, what could it be? I want you to write out a practice routine. Now, you don't need someone to necessarily make this for you. Just make sure you're covering the basis of a lot of techniques. Legato, picking, maybe, multiple kinds of picking. Economy picking, alternate picking, sweep picking, legato, maybe combining picking and legato, scale practice, chords, all that kind of stuff is all very, very crucial. Now, here's one thing you don't want to do that I found just through being a teacher throughout the years. A lot of people come up with one practice routine, and that's it. And that can get boring very quickly. I always tell them, kind of like treat it like you would when you're going to the gym. Whether you go to the gym or not. Everyone's heard of, oh, it's leg day, it's arm day, whatever it is. That's how you want to kind of treat this. So basically, you want Mondays to be maybe legato day, and Tuesday to be picking day, and then maybe Wednesday is economy picking day. That way you're not burning yourself out. The quickest way to good, progress and good results as a player is not getting burnout or discouraged. So when you're constantly changing it up like this throughout the week, you're really building onto stuff, and then, the next day is something different. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm doing something different. It's not just the same thing every single day, because then you start to dread it, and then you don't want to practice, and before you know it, you don't practice, and then it's been a week before you picked up your guitar. Or you just end up, kind of like noodling around and not really practicing anything, and that's not what we want. We want ways to get better faster, and this is really going to help you out. All right, next on the list is a common one that you are going to hear from everybody, and that is use a metronome. Now, there's a couple things I want to tweak about just, somebody telling you to use a metronome. I'm going to give you a lick to use, so here's our lick that we're going to use. It's going to use all 4 fingers, is one of the reasons why I like it so much. It goes like this. So what am I doing? I'm just going 5-7 on the G, and then 5-6 on the B, then back to 5-7 on the G, and then 5-8 on the B. So. Now, having done that, that uses all 4 fingers, okay? So we're just going to keep going with that one, and set your metronome wherever you can play it comfortably. Now, you have to understand there's you can play an 8th note, quarter note, 16th, all kinds of different note sequences that you can play with this, and if you aren't familiar with what those mean, I would Google that. That's kind of for a separate video, but definitely look into that and see kind of like what one you feel most comfortable with. Now, once you have that down with your metronome, and we're just going to say 60 beats per minute, what I want you to do is I want you to move it up chromatically. So then all I'm doing is just moving up 1 fret each time. Not the most flattering sounding thing. But I just want to get our hands into different areas on the neck. And this is going to help a lot with moving around. I know it's just one shape now. Later we'll stick to scales. But this is just a really good way to get going on that. Now, the second part that I want you to do with this is I want you to chart out your metronome progress. So what I want you to do is you're going to physically write down how fast you're playing this week. Whether it's 60, 100, 200, 3,000 beats per minute, whatever it might be, I want you to chart it out and write it down. Now, what this is going to do is the next week, whenever you increase your speed, or in a few days, however you like to do it, you're going to physically have a number to look at. As individuals and players, sometimes it's hard to tell if we're getting better, because we hear and see ourselves play every single time we pick up a guitar. So when you have the physical numbers sitting there looking at you like, oh, wow, I'm at 80 beats per minute and I was at 60 beats per minute 2 weeks ago, that is, to me anyways, encouraging. It gives you a lot of motivation because you're seeing a physical representation of your practice paying off. All right, now number 3. Now, aside from all of this practicing, what I want you to do is make sure you incorporate time at the end or at the beginning. I would recommend doing it at the end of your practice session to just play and have fun. I think it's easy to get caught up in just wanting to play, once we get into the mindset of, oh, we gotta learn these scales, you just want to sit there, for hours playing the same scale. And there's nothing wrong with, being very dedicated like that. But kind of going back to the initial one of creating that practice routine, it can get boring and you get burnt out. And I don't want you to sit there and practice, real heavy technique for a month and then it burns you out and then you don't pick up a guitar for a month. That's really not going to give you the progress you want. What we want is we want you to practice, heavily in a lot of different areas for a very sustainable amount of time. So we want you to practice, 5 months, and then maybe you take a couple day break, something like that. Because, by that, incorporating this just play aspect of it, it's a very fun kind of thing. It doesn't feel like practice, it doesn't feel like work. It's like that, that saying, if you, do what you love, you won't work a day in your life. So if we love what we're doing and you're really just having fun at the end of your practice sessions, we're ending on that note of, wow, that was a lot of fun. Then you want to go back and do it the next day. So it's really, really crucial that you always have time for your, dedicated practice, but also for the overall just enjoyment of playing. So whether it might be, just jamming, some kind of riff to a song that you like, or maybe learning a riff to a song that you like, or something like that. It's very, very crucial to do that because it's just going to make it so much more enjoyable because you're playing music, and that's what most people's goal is when they're learning to play the guitar. All right, so the next one is I highly recommend you learn scales. I know they don't sound fun. But they actually are. What I find with students is when I have them learn these scales and stuff like that, all of a sudden it opens up so much to them when they're learning other music. They're learning, like I said before, learning that song they've always wanted to play. And all of a sudden it clicks. They're like, oh, he's just doing like an A minor blues scale. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. You spotted that. That's amazing. So I am going to give you the A minor blues scale to practice if you don't already know it. If you do already know it, then, just, I guess, skip this part. But there's a few points I want to kind of hone in on here. So one thing I'm going to be focusing on, including just learning the scale, is how much I'm moving my left hand and how much I'm moving my right hand. And my left hand's hurt a little bit right now. My wrist isn't 100%, so my playing is not quite up to par. But we're just going to go real slow with this one. And we're just going to walk our way through it. All alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up the whole way. And I'm trying to focus on lifting up my left hand as little as possible. So, we go 5, 8 on the low E. Then we go 5, 6, 7 on the A string. 5, 7 on the D. 5, 7, 8 on the G. 5, 8 on the B. 5, 8 on the high E. Okay, so we have... Now I would work on ascending and descending that. So once you have that down, you want to learn it in all 5 positions. And then what I do each time when I warm up, I pick a different key and I just play through the pentatonic scale. So I might do G minor. I know we just did the blues minor, but that's just kind of how I warm up each time. I play through the entire scale, ascend it, descend it, and it just gets my hands warmed up, and it's always, increasing that pathway of the fingerboard. Now, the 5th and final one, to me, is the most crucial, and what all of this stuff is for, is I want you to write music. It might sound cliche or just kind of like, well, duh. But I think a lot of times we get caught up doing all this other stuff and we forget the joy of writing music. Think how cool it is that we get to have this instrument and you get to create a song from nothing. This song, I mean, it might sound like another song, but at the end of the day, this song didn't exist until you played it. So to me as a musician, that's always been one of the most exciting things. I love the process of, you have one idea. You have a riff that's just really like that's our idea. That's the riff, and all of a sudden, that riff goes into. That was literally, I just had that one idea, and it was starting to turn into something else. And I liked how it went to that A to F sharp. So, that is so crucial. Just work on writing music. Constantly write, as we go, you're gonna have songs that are gonna be terrible. That's just part of the process, and you're gonna have songs that are gonna be amazing, and that you'll be incredibly proud of. But as I said, I'm telling you, once you get started on that process of writing music, all it's gonna want you to do is work on all the other facets of playing even more, and you're just going to be so inspired to keep practicing, to keep playing, and it's really gonna fast track all your stuff because all of a sudden, all of it is fun because you have that end goal of writing music. Alrighty guys, well thank you all so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that lesson, got something out of it. Now, like I said before, make sure you hit the subscribe button. New videos all the time on here, and I am going to see you next time. Hold up. Is this another video? Yeah, totally is. And guess what? There's another video right there. You could even subscribe if you wanted to. There might be something here. I don't know. Can we add that many things in the end of a video? We're going to find out. You know what? I'm going to call it. I'm going to say there's another video right here. There are 3 videos and 1 subscribe box. 3 videos, 1 subscribe. See you guys.